Growing up as an Asian Canadian guy, lunchtime has always been interesting. Just imagine tiny grade school me walking in with my rice crackers, fried rice and dumplings in an anpanman bento box. That's just Asian Lunchables. And I sat alone at the school caf often because kids are cruel, and just like a fucked up breakup, it's not them, it's you.
And what is that? Gross! It's Chinese food.
It's always, oh, your Chinese food smells. Heck, I could bring in sushi and they'll still call it Chinese food. Ignorant fucks. I'm sorry, food with actual seasoning has a smell to it, okay? Unlike your bland-ass potato salads, Karen. The thing is though, once most people have tried Asian food, it's like they've unlocked nirvana. The rich cultures and tastes of foods from faraway lands. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, and in this day and age, especially with the growth of social media, it has fortunately become much less of an in-person thing. You see, the social media growth was a blessing and a curse, because you now have people acting like they've discovered some groundbreaking culinary secret, like there's some sort of food Indiana Jones or something. And of course, the first thought for many is, how can I get rich from this? But in a lot of cases, it's just straight up disrespectful. You know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Like the buzzwords, the reinventions, the strange need to take something that's beautifully complex and make it, well, basic. Yep, it's about to get real, so buckle up and get them chopsticks. Matcha. You know that green drink with like a strong, heavy flavor profile? First originated in Asia, but it has since become popular like all over the world. It has grown its popularity among health junkies, influencers, and Gen Z among others. Even your regular coffee shops like Starbucks or Pret a Manger. Okay, that Pret matcha coconut latte, it slaps so hard. No, like seriously, blessed up. I'm going back to the UK just to have that. Go green! This product that went viral recently is called Poda, or Poda, which came out promising a new and innovative way to consume matcha.
Let's make matcha, but we don't need any of this crap.
Because why waste time making matcha with all this traditional crappy old tools and just squeeze it out of an aluminum tube? You know what that looks like? Okay, that looks like cursed toothpaste. Actually, it looks like that awful Shrek toothpaste that I used as a kid, like this one. God, that was awful.
So you hop on Amazon to find the best matcha out there, and suddenly, it's confusing. A million brands, each claiming to be the best. Ceremonial? Culinary? What does it even mean?
Ceremonial, culinary, it's exactly what it means, okay? Just pull out a fucking dictionary, damn. And even if you don't know the difference, there's like a million TikTok videos talking about the differences between ceremonial and can't even speak today, culinary matcha. It's not that hard.
Stale, clumpy, and a hassle to make. What if I told you there's a better way?
First off, if it's splashed all across the fucking table, you're probably doing it wrong. Anyways, the problem that most people have with it is actually in the way that they market it.
Meet Poda, the best matcha on the planet, packed in an aluminium tube to keep it as fresh as the day it was harvested.
The best matcha on the planet? Okay, now that is a bold claim, okay? Have you been to Tsukiji Market in Japan? You know, the place where they like just freshly grind it in front of you? Now, I'm not a matcha genius by any means, but from what I've read, a lot of experts say that the brownness that you see in Poda is usually an indicator about its quality.
You're automatically mixing the matcha with other ingredients, and as soon as you do that, it doesn't matter what the format of the product is, even if it's like a latte mix powder, it just degrades the quality of the matcha.
Essentially, when you mix water in with matcha, it will start to degrade. This marketing strategy here is just so strange. Like just putting down other matcha companies, and it just feels very disrespectful to Asian culture. Like, where was the PR department on this one? Like, were they asleep? They also just have this weird low-key bit on their TikTok channel that just seems to imply that all matcha made in China is subpar. Well, a huge number of matcha plants are from China, okay? So I don't know what you want. Now, I do think that it's possible to start a brand of something that's not from your culture, but guys, it just has to be done in the right way, okay? Respectfully. And this whole calling traditional tools crap and calling matcha this sort of mystifying foreign substance is not really helping your cause here. Okay, but the one he picked up literally has English on the box though, did it not?
Hi, do you guys have matcha?
No, not here.
No.
We have matcha actually in the cafe over that side.
Oh,
It's
not.
just that we don't have the syrups over there. But we do matcha over that side.
Alright, thank you.
No worries.
My guy, like, she literally just said that you can get it, like, right across the room. And this is some first world problem stuff right here. Also, it's not like paste form matcha doesn't exist. It already does exist in some places in Japan. The difference being, they know exactly what they are and they're not calling everyone else inferior. Anyways, Poda did do an apology video, so let's take a look.
I genuinely, honestly did not mean to dismiss or bash on Japanese tea traditions or culture. I was talking about stale, oxidized matcha powder. It came off a very wrong way. I chose the wrong words and I really apologize for that. I learned that most Japanese matcha is more premium to the Chinese one. I was wrong to generalize it.
Well, it seems like they're still currently ongoing with the Poda project, so let's see if they can end up turning this around. Let's kick things off with something that's been brewing for a while. Bubble tea. All pun intended. Last year, there was this whole debacle between Shang-Chi and bubble tea, and it was just kind of in bad taste. The French-Canadian company Boba? God, they can't even get the spelling right. Was featured on Dragon's Den, which is a Canadian show where entrepreneurs would pitch their ideas to a panel of wealthy investors, hoping to get some of that sweet, sweet VC investment. It's basically Shark Tank but Canadian. One week they had Simu Liu as a guest investor on the show. So Simu is a Chinese-Canadian actor who's most famous for his role in Shang-Chi and Kim's Convenience. Cool dude, met him a few times actually. And out of all the Canadian companies that they could have pitched for this episode, it had to be a bubble tea company, from Quebec specifically. For the record, bubble tea was invented in Taiwan by Asian people.
We are here today from Quebec City seeking $1 million in exchange of 18% of our business, Boba.
So these people are evaluating their company for 5.5 million. Pourquoi? That's about all the French I know. Also, that's Bobba, not Boba, okay? I'm not calling that Boba, that's Bobba.
That trendy sugary drink you are queued up for and you are never quite sure about its content.
Hang on. I'm quite sure about its content, but continue.
Okay, that's getting a little touchy now, they're in it. They're basically saying, when you're lining up for Boba, who knows what's in it? And I don't know about none of this Korean writing around it. First off, Gongcha is Chinese. Second of all, there's a menu for a reason, my man. Basically, Bobba is pitched as boba tea without anything ethnical.
Transform this beloved beverage into a convenient and healthier, ready-to-drink experience. High-quality tea, fruit juice, and our famous bobbing Boba.
First off, Simu's face looks like he's about to bust out the 10 rings on a motherfucker. Also, they do know that you can get boba in juice and tea form, right? Not just like dairy and milk. Anyways, after this segment aired, unsurprisingly, a lot of people had problems with it. I know these guys didn't really bash bubble tea, but by implying that it's strange and needs to get sanitized for a Western audience is honestly baffling. Oh, and by the way, they've made it allegedly healthier. Sure, based on its nutrition sheet, there are less calories and less fat compared to your average bubble tea, but at the end of the day, you're still putting a bunch of sugars into your body, and especially not healthier when they have an alcoholic version. Bubble tea night's about to get lit. I know it's probably not for me, as someone who actually goes to like Asian bubble tea places. This is probably more for like a Beverly Hills fitness mom, you know? I mean, they did say they made like 2 million in revenue, so there has to be some sort of audience for it, right? Their biggest mistake is really just rubbing everyone the wrong way with how they're marketing this. The thing is though too, you can tell by the judges' reactions exactly who this is marketed for.
Raspberry and lime. Not bad.
This is my first time having bubble tea.
You're missing out in life, man.
I've never seen it like in this. I've seen it in...
People have tried to bottle it up. It's very difficult to maintain the flavor.
And I agree with Simu here, okay? Pre-packaged bubble tea has never tasted exactly right, and it's very hard to maintain a true boba flavor without it feeling like it's going off, you know? But yeah, overall, okay product, just a nightmare of a pitch. And it's concerning that Simu, the only East Asian person there, was the only one that had some valid concerns about the authenticity and just about Bobba in general. That was just dismissed by like everyone else on the panel.
I'm concerned about this idea of disrupting or disturbing bubble tea because it's something that's
Why?
very
There
near...
can be new takes on things.
Sure,
Nothing-
but I'm looking
not
at
everything
I'm
has
looking
to
at
be
these two guys.
traditional.
No, but then there's also an issue of cultural appropriation. There's an issue of taking something that's very distinctly Asian in its identity and quote unquote making it better, which I have an issue with. But I want to hear the pitch before I formulate an opinion. And
Boy,
so
that's one way to start.
That's one way to start. A little heavy there.
I see her point, but at the same time, change has to be done respectfully. Shortly after the episode aired, it went viral and there was a lot of discourse created over this. And Bobba finally responded. And the dragon that did invest, Manjeet, also made an apology after the episode aired and pulled her $1 million investment.
After more reflection, due diligence, and listening to many of your opinions, I will not be investing in boba tea. It is never okay to send hate and death threats to the entrepreneurs. I believe wholeheartedly our cultures are meant to be shared, including food, drink, clothing. Those of us like Simu and I who have platforms to do so always try to use these platforms to educate and enjoy and explore all cultures. It is cha or chai, depending on where you're from, not chai tea. It is naan, not naan bread.
Like, I get her point, but why then did she just brush off Simu's comments, you know? Simu also released a statement telling people to just, like, cool off, like, with all the hate comments towards, like, Bobba and Manjeet and such.
First and foremost, I want to say I think we hit on a really important discussion about cultural appropriation. How is something exploitative rather than kind of paying homage and paying respect? It's never okay to make threats. It's never okay to bully and harass online.
This whole thing honestly could have been avoided if they just had like a more respectful pitch. It's honestly like that episode of The Simpsons where they take kebab and try to make it less foreign.
And falafel? Crunch patties. So we'd be selling foreign specialty foods.
Speaking of tea, let's talk about kombucha for a second. Yes, it's a tea, not some sort of hipster soda. That fizzy, fermented tea that's apparently the cure-all for everything from indigestion to bad vibes, whatever that is. But hold up, okay? Kombucha isn't some hipster shit that originated from a Brooklyn cafe 5 years ago, okay? It originated in China. Ancient China. Like 2,000 years ago, Qing Dynasty kind of stuff. But nowadays, we associate kombucha more with this. Like, this whole taking things from one culture and bringing it somewhere else sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. I'd say kombucha is one of those cases where it kind of worked for the most part. It's the same too with chai, okay? I know it's not chai tea because that would be tea. A lot of people forget about its Indian roots due to it being very popular amongst like hipsters, Karens, and Visco girlies, you know? Next, let's dive into the whole no MSG craze. MSG, it's like the cool hip younger brother of salt. It's everywhere nowadays, including in such exotic foods as KFC and Chick-fil-A. How many times have you seen restaurants boasting that they're MSG free? Like they're doing you some big favor by not having this mysterious chemical in it. Here's the deal, okay? MSG, or monosodium glutamate, is a flavor enhancer. It's been used in Asian cooking since the 1900s and is safe for the most part. The FDA recognizes it as safe, and most ill effects are mild and short-lived. And that's mostly with like large doses, okay? So unless you're chugging down multiple bowls of pure MSG or just doing a line of MSG, you're probably safe. Bit of history too with this one. In the 60s, there's this thing called Chinese restaurant syndrome, when doctors claimed that after eating Chinese food, they would experience symptoms like fainting, dizziness, a numb jaw. Honestly, go off, drama queen. But sounding more and more like he just accidentally had some mala tang, okay? Like, aka the numbing soup. It's terrifyingly delicious. They also literally injected mice with MSG, and then when the mice started not feeling so good, guess what? MSG is the devil. Here's the thing, okay? I'm sure if I IV drip soy sauce into my veins, I'll feel like shit too. This affected so many Asian restaurants to the point where a lot of them had to close or put up no MSG signs on the window despite the lack of clear evidence against MSG. Is it the healthiest thing? No. But back in the day, people were just a little racist. In Asian cuisine, MSG is part of the flavor profile. It's used to elevate the taste in a balanced way, you know? So why is it suddenly bad when it's in Asian food? It's almost like some kind of food racism, okay? When it's in your pizza or your KFC, it's fine, but when it's in your noodles, ooh, God forbid. It's the devil's work. Like, come on, guys. And speaking of healthy Chinese food restaurants, there's this place called Lucky Lee's. Might I add, the owners are not Chinese, or even Asian, for that matter. That's the owner. You've seen it, restaurants from Western chefs with names like Lucky and Gordon Ramsay's Lucky Cat, anyone? Okay, but seriously guys, what's with the obsession with the word lucky? Back to Lucky Lee's, at first glance, doesn't seem like anything's too bad. Chinese food can be unhealthy sometimes, and making it healthier and more accessible to a wider audience is, you know, a good thing. You know, it's good to have options. We heard you're obsessed with lo mein, but rarely eat it. You said it makes you feel bloated and icky the next day? Well, wait until you slurp our high lo mein. Not too oily or salty. I don't know what kind of lo mein they're having, but I feel fine afterwards, you know? They closed down after a controversial 8 months, largely due to how they marketed themselves as better or cleaner Chinese food. Now listen, I'm not saying these chefs aren't talented, but there's something weird about opening a restaurant with the name Lucky attached to him. It's like taking a bunch of Eastern symbolism and stereotypes, especially the idea of good luck and fortune, you know, with like the handicats and shit, and slapping it on a menu without truly understanding why. You're not lucky, bro. You're just slapping a trendy word on top of your overpriced Asian fusion food. Even Andrew Zimmern, the Bizarre Foods guy, and I love that show by the way, okay, don't get me wrong, had a restaurant called Lucky Cricket, where he got some flack for saying that his concept was to save the souls of all the people from having to dine at these horseshit restaurants masquerading as Chinese food that are in the Midwest. Okay. On that other note, God Emperor Gordon Ramsay's Lucky Cat restaurant couldn't escape the appropriation bug either. No, I love you, Gordon. I really do. Your restaurants slap pretty hard, but what is happening here, my guy? Like, look at this menu. Some of these prices are criminal too, like £6.50 for edamame, or how about a California roll for £22.50? Keep in mind this is in pounds, okay? So back in Canadian money, this is like double. Because our money is basically monopoly money now. Ha! Okay, comparing it to fancy local North American sushi prices, kind of similar, but still very expensive. Like, this is more than authentic cuisine level prices. It's like, why is Lucky the theme? You could have named it anything that could have tied it to the actual culture, something with meaning, but no, just throw Lucky on there, throw some dumplings on a plate, and bam, you're an Asian fusion food master. Speaking of Lucky Cats, nearly 500 of them have been stolen from Gordon Ramsay's Lucky Cat restaurant recently. Okay, but why have like 500 of them? I know they only cost like £5 each, but this is still just an additional ridiculous little thing I found out about this story. What he did do well though was with Italian food. Gordon Ramsay's street pizza, that shit was good. Literally for £20, all you can eat pizza. I just went to the one in London and I had like 12 slices, all coming in one after the other, and like the mac and cheese slapped too. I'll credit these chefs that much, that at least they didn't just throw the word China or Orient over it. Not really the same thing, but there's this restaurant that I go to sometimes called Matsuya. It has a Japanese name which translates to pine shop, but they call themselves a Korean house, and the food that they're selling inside is Chinese, so I don't get the vibes, guys. And sometimes this westernization circus goes beyond just Asian food. That's right, we're talking about spa water. Lemon, cucumber, and mint in water. Sounds like some White Lotus shit, you know? And they call this spa water. What, like drinking it is gonna make you glow like you just came out from like a 5-star massage? Come on guys, like this isn't water straight from an Icelandic spring, okay? It's not Voss. Meanwhile in Mexico, they've been making Agua Fresca for ages.
Oh my gosh, can I have a venti spa water? Just kidding. Una agua grande de pepino, por favor.
You know, those fresh drinks in the tub with simple ingredients like watermelon, hibiscus, or cantaloupe. That honestly sounds so good. But of course, the TikTok community found this groundbreaking drink and had to call it spa water. Also, agua fresca translates directly to fresh water, so not sure where the spa part comes from. Spa water also sounds disgusting. I don't want no spa water, okay? It sounds like the leftover water from like a dirty spa. Like, I don't want to be drinking in some old man hot spring water, you know? So, what have we learned today? Changing up Asian food can be cool and fun if done with some respect, but too often it's just a cash grab that ignores the real heart of the food. And whether it's Boba or like the whole army of Lucky restaurants, let's remember that food isn't just about flavor. It's about culture, tradition, history. You can't just slap a label on something and call it brand new, better, healthier, and maybe, just maybe, let's leave the MSG in our pho. Thanks for watching, Mochis. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in the next video, okay? Peace!